Welcome back to episode 9 of Punching the Clock, everyone. I am Jensen Lord, also known as Flagrant Sports, and I am joined by the two best co-hosts in the entire MMA atmosphere. We have Hayden Luz, aka Last Round Luz. We got Eric Maddie, aka Eric Maddie MMA. And we got some interesting things to talk about this episode. We are going to recap Kai versus Albazi. We are going to preview UFC 289. And we're going to get into a secrets little section that I have planned. And then we have our beef of the week that we're going to cap it off with. But boys, let's get into it. Kai Kara-France lost a controversial split decision to Amir Albazi this past weekend. Watch a controversy. A lot of the biggest names in the sport were calling robbery. I'm just going to open it to both of y'all. Did y'all think that this was a robbery?
Yeah, Derek, I'll let you lead the reins.
Was it a robbery? I thought it was I had Kai winning. I will say, and this could have been my beef of the week. Maybe we'll rehash it later. But as much as I thought Kai won, the people that look at the significant strike numbers and refer to that as a reason, guys, that is never a reason to score a fight that way. Like, first of all, the UFC or just the commissions that do the stats are terrible at tracking stats, right? A leg kick could get checked. It still counts as a leg kick landed. And amongst other reasons, a punch could land on the shoulders. They count it as a punch landed, blah, 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 blah. It's never a good reason to score the fight. And yes, Kai had like triple the amount of strikes landed, if not even more. But the quality of strikes matters. So bad reason. But with that being said, I did have Amir winning. What about you, Hayden?
Yeah, you said you had Amir winning or Kai winning?
Or Kai winning, sorry.
Okay, my fault. I just want to double check that. So yeah, even though I was pretty much the leader of the train for Amir, I gotta call a spade a spade. I did have Kai winning. I was watching on my one buddy Tyler, and we were watching. We were like, yeah, I mean, close fight, but I think Kai got the nod. Once it hit Albazi, bro, both of us went. We were really surprised, but I revisited it, and I even said it live. Rounds 1 through 4 were, besides round 3, were very close. I think 5 was definitive for Kai. 3 was pretty close for Albazi. But round 1 could have went either way. Round 2,
I thought round 1 was pretty comfortably Kai.
I don't know about comfortably, but I think round 1 went Kai as well. Switched to the right hand, he landed very late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even though Kai was throwing more, he wouldn't really. He would land like he would throw 2, 3, but land partial, and Albazi would land 1 clean. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, Kai landed a nice low kick. Maybe 5 ticks later, Albazi came back and landed 1 for himself. It was a lot of even and out, a lot of forward pressure. But like I said, I did get Kai that round as well. But like I said, a lot of these rounds were very close. Robbery is a strong word, and I wouldn't say it here. Although, again, I do agree with what you said. I did have Kai winning. But live, I didn't mind the 2-3-4 for Albazi. I thought 2-3-4 for Albazi was cool, and 1-4-5 for Kai was cool.
Yeah, no, I
go
agree.
1-4-5 Kai.
I was on TikTok live with, I think it was Guy Vega, MMA Maddie, a couple other people, shout out to them. And we were watching it live, and Guy was a couple seconds ahead, so we were just basically listening to his scorecard. He turned up the TV, and we were all listening to it, and we all felt like that it was a close, like y'all said, it was a close fight, but we all felt like Kai won that fight. And then whenever they said Albazi, like, we were genuinely shocked. Albazi. And so I thought it was pretty crazy. I'm not going to go as far as, like, Adesanya did and, like, just start pacing across the room and, like, damn near crying. It's like, okay, dude, I get it's your boy, but, like...
Emotional attachment.
Right. And a lot of bias. But, I still thought that the fight could have gone either way, even though I felt like Kai won. I'm not going to sit here and be like Volk fans and just fucking cry. It's something about the city kickboxing boys that just cannot accept defeat. But
it's something in that water over there, because I have actually a really good friend. His name's Kieran. He lives in New Zealand, and he actually we had a good conversation after the fight, because he's like, bro, New Zealand fans and Boston fans are really similar. Like, we're great winners, but when we lose it's like straight to the salt. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you gotta understand that's what it is. It's a lot of like talking with emotion. Because that fight was close, but like I said, I do think Kai could have won either way. But with that said, did Kai really fight the fight that you guys thought? Because for my money, I feel like he looked a little hesitant, throwing the triple jab, not really following up with the right hand. I feel like Albazi made him fight. Albazi dictated a lot of the engagements, and he did a really good job dictating the range and with his defense. Eric disagrees, so let me hear
To me, I think this is kind of what I think that was kind of exactly who Kai France is. There's so many things you wish he could implement into his game, specifically more kicking, which would just transform his game. If he could,
I actually said that as well.
like, first of all, if he could commit more to the low kicks, that would be helpful. Of course, when you're getting pressured against a guy like Albazi who wants to really punch through the low kick and like throw a right hand, like it's a bit discouraging. But if he could just throw like more open side, like switch kicks and stuff like that, it would transform his game. Like to me, this was really who Kai is. Like he doesn't have many plan Bs to win the fight, right? Like he's not gonna, he wins it one way and he's predominantly with his hands. It's a lot of what he does is he jabs, bridges forward into an overhand. I thought he actually showed a decent amount. I thought he showed much more impressive adjustments in this fight compared to Albazi, who to me was stuck in the same gear from round 1 to 5 and in the same patterns. And I get it. The fight was still close and he never necessarily fell too far behind. But to me, it was Kai making the better adjustments. And this is just kind of who he is. Like he only has a certain amount of ways to win the fight. And when he's not landing the big right hand clean, the fight's going to be really, really close. And that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. But that's kind of like my big takeaway for that fight. I feel like rounds 1 and basically through 3, Kai really didn't land that right hand too clean. He only started to land it is when Albazi started to fade a little bit. But like I said, that kind of goes on to your point of where Albazi was kind of fighting the same from rounds 1 to 5, and Kai made a little bit more adjustments, but he was kicking early and then started to go with the hands a little bit more late. But I feel like I wanted a little more. Carry on.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I wanted to see a little bit more from Kai. That was it.
I get it, but I would easily say the same from Albazi. I mean, his volume is really, to me, way too low. And I mean, even you look back at his last fight, I guess there was a hint of that in the Alessandro Costa fight where it's like you can see he has such a big skill advantage. When is he going to go out? When is he really going to go for it? He seems very, very just like it's really frustrating because he does a lot of things right. For example, like when he's applying the pressure, he's using feints really, really nicely, but his volume is just so low. And even again, his grappling is really, really impressing me. Just his strength and the way he creates back exposure through lifting, through connecting his hands to lifting and then transitioning to the back. It's all really beautiful. But like he'll get very nice forward pressure, and he's so like skilled with his hands. But then he doesn't box his way into takedown attempts. He just shoots. He just thinks that, or like he just believes that having his opponent backed up to the fence is enough to just shoot the shot rather than setting it up with a punch or two.
I mean, he definitely showed that. I believe it was the first round alone. He showed a nice jab and he went right into the hips. I believe it was the first round.
3 where he just ran at the takedown. Like he's doing great work with the hands, and then then Kai easily sees it coming and defends. I just want to see more. Like to me, Albazi, the whole fight was forward pressure in the feints, which did well to make Kai hesitant, and he was just trying to sit down on a cross counter the entire fight. And Kai was doing such a great job anticipating that, and like Kai didn't let it discourage him from throwing his jab. A lot of guys, when they see a big cross counter threat, they stop throwing their jab. Kai never did that. He was just doing such a great job throwing his jab and taking his head off the sideline, so the cross counter was never landing. In fact, it was
they landed
Kai
a couple times
landing.
in the first round.
He landed one that would actually like clip Kai was like late second round, but it was still like 14 attempts deep where Kai was still landing his jab in between that. He never got discouraged. And I was just waiting, like, when is Albazi going to throw an uppercut? And he finally made that adjustment, I think early third round, threw it one time, but man, I would have loved to see more of that. He also, in the second round, cut the cage with a beautiful switch kick to the body on Kai, which landed so clean, and then never did it again. There's just so many large gaps where he's throwing nothing, and he has a beautiful 1-2. And he has fantastic grappling. I just want to see more volume. I want to see him go for it more.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree there. I would definitely.
And to me, like Kai was making a lot of beautiful adjustments. Like he learned right away that Albazi doesn't. I mean, his defense isn't great. It's a lot of just retreating. And Kai Kai was very comfortably just shifting off the fence with these big combinations, which would push Albazi all the way back to the center. It was just so frustrating because Kai. Kind of like the curse of the first Izzy versus Pereira MMA fight, where he just refused to hold his ground in any capacity and kept getting pushed back to the fence. So they were playing that game, and I think it was ultimately Kai's downfall.
Yeah, I feel like the defense of Albazi is something I wanted to praise in this fight.
Good, but it's
I
just if you want to be a forward pressure guy, like you don't want to retreat every single time. Like you want to be able
for
to
sure.
hold your ground and capitalize more, rather like beyond just
Yeah,
the cross count.
yeah, because that is the way to beat Albazi, isn't it? Is to put him on the back foot, because he does a lot of his best work on the front foot, faithing his way into the range and getting to the takedown. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like his head movement is there. He does a good job answering the telephone on the right hands, because like I said, a lot of those right hands weren't really landed until he got tired. So I feel like there was a lot of defensive work from Albazi that I wanted to praise in that fight.
Yeah, I just in terms of like when I just look at the fight tactically, I just saw one fighter who, just being such an well-rounded and terrific fighter, had a skill advantage in Albazi, but I didn't really see him make the tactical adjustments as the fight goes on as much as Kai did. Obviously, it wasn't enough for Kai, although we do believe he got it done. Like I loved how he started, like obviously shifting off the fence to push him back to the center. I loved getting Albazi to start to retreat and then banging the right hand to the body, banging the low kick, which is just great tactics against a guy who's retreating pretty hard. But again, to your point, Albazi, when you're fighting Kai, you just don't want to get hit by the big overhand that comes out of nowhere when he flies forward, and he
And I
didn't.
feel like
So
that's why he
that's a
didn't.
huge positive.
And I feel like that's why he didn't really show the rear uppercut often, because that's the thing. It's a short shot, so you have to get in close. When your hands down here, leaves you.
Oh, it was there though. It was there though. It was there.
I feel you, because I agree,
landed.
because that's where he does his best work, is when he starts to establish. He builds on his combinations. Jab, right hand, and then he'll show the right hand, and then he'll throw the shovel uppercut or the regular uppercut itself. And that's what he got. What was it, Costa, his last fight? That's what he got him with.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, Jens, what do you think? You've seen him fight Kai France, number 3 guy in the world. He's an extremely well-rounded flyweight. Does he have I'll say this: the champion Brandon Moreno is also an extremely well-rounded flyweight. Do you think Albazi has enough skills to dethrone the champion?
I don't think so, and it's not necessarily like, I guess part of it is what Albazi sort of lacks, but I think a lot of it is just how good Brandon Moreno is, like how sharp his boxing is, how good his wrestling and groundwork is. Like he can basically just do everything to a very competent level. It's hard for me to see anyone right now that's established in the top 5 or top 10 dethroning Brandon Moreno. So I don't know. It's not, like I said, it's not necessarily something that Albazi's not doing. I mean, of course he has stuff to work on, but I don't know. Moreno's so good, dude. It's just hard for me to see him lose. Like, I don't know. I don't see him losing.
I think Moreno has tough fights ahead of him.
Yeah,
but I do think, he definitely has tough fights ahead of him. I saw your face that you made there.
He
Yeah, you
does.
saw that. I was gonna get in that ass.
But I do agree with Jens, because in terms of Albazi, like the way Moreno fights, like it's such a hype. It's a sprint with Moreno, like especially that third Figgy fight, like that is an all-out sprint with him, and where Albazi like spends so much time not throwing anything and just feinting. Moreno is a guy who just goes, and as we learned in the Figueiredo fights, he fought Figueiredo 4 times, and it was, I mean, he, considering how big of a hitter Figueiredo is and how fast he is, he didn't really take a lot of huge shots. Obviously, in the third fight, he kind of lost the fight, taking 1 big shot per round, but overall, in the body of work against Figueiredo, he's a tough guy to really land the big one on, and he has a great chin. So I think that's a tough fight for Albazi. What do you think, Aiden?
So my thing is with what the both of you said, I agree and disagree with what you said, Jens, right? Because I feel like regardless of which way you want to score that fight of what we saw on Saturday, Albazi belongs, and I know it's not the direct answer to your question. He belongs in that top 5. Also, to couple onto that, Royval. And well, excuse me, let me backtrack a little bit. It kind of reminded me of like the Johnny Smith and Anthony Smith situation, right? Where there was title implications on it, but the way he won the fight, it's like, fair play. You won the fight, but you're not getting a title shot after that. I think they're going to go ahead and do Albazi and Royval. That's the fight they're going to make. And now to go on to that, I feel like Royval is a tough fight for Moreno right now. There are plenty of good fights. Manel Cape, you guys know how I feel about Manel. And then that's my other matchup. I think they do Kai and Manel, and then Royval and Albazi. What do you guys reckon?
I can see that. I was going to ask y'all what y'all thought about
This guy's
Kai.
good. This guy's good.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with both those fights.
Go ahead, Jensen.
No, I was gonna ask y'all what y'all thought Kai, like who he should fight next. I like the Cape fight. I'm just trying to think who else is in flyweight right now that could be an interesting matchup.
Nicolau is probably the only one that rings any bells towards the top for me off the top of my head right now because Pantoja's busy in that. Royval's not in that realm of fighting that type of guy right now.
Hey, what's up with Askarov?
He's out of the UFC. He's fighting for ACB now, isn't it?
He's
that's
fights
right.
There? I thought he.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. From what I'm told, he's not even taking fights per UFC. Askarov. I'm
See,
sure he's on the ACB.
I remember when I remember like whatever 6 months ago when the UFC roster watch tweeted that he was cut, but I thought it was just like he was just like taking time. I didn't know he was gonna fight in ACB and like fight. Wow, that's crazy.
Because bro, that's the other thing too. You guys knew I was huge on Askarov. He was like the 25
Mhm.
Habib is what I like to call him because he was a tough fight for anybody. But like I said, I feel like Albazi kind of fills that gap or fills his shoes in a way. Because like I said in my breakdown, I feel like what Askarov didn't have against Kai was the striking to back up the wrestling, and that's what Albazi has. Just a little side point.
You don't really have to worry too much about Amir's gas tank as much as Askarov as well. It's not an amazing gas tank, but you don't have to. With Askarov, like
Albazi can actually beat Kai.
Fair enough.
Well,
considering how close Askarov and Kai was compared. Yeah.
I think they give him a birthday present.
Yeah,
well,
just a joke.
Well, anyways.
Good joke, Jensen. Love it.
Thanks. All right. Well, that's kind of that. Now we're gonna move on to next week. We have finally a pay-per-view. For some reason, it's felt like months since we've had another pay-per-view, when in reality it's only been a couple of weeks. But
it's just these fight nights have been so no hype.
They've been grueling,
dragging on.
Yeah, and so we have UFC 289, Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana.
Where is it?
Where is it?
Where is it?
Oh, it's
exactly,
in
Where is it? Exactly, Jensen. Nobody cares about Canada.
Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. UFC is back. First show since COVID. And what did they come back with? The Amanda Nunes main event.
They come back with the
dreaded Amanda Nunes main event.
She's back for the third time. She's back.
God damn. And to think it was going to be Juliana Pena trilogy fight. I mean, it's no better with Aldana whatsoever.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be at least a little bit better.
Well, guys, I guess
which one, Aldana or Pena?
With Pena.
I know, but it's like you've seen it twice, and they were both brutal to watch.
Yeah, nobody cares. Yeah, well, I mean, they can only fit 6,000 people in that arena, anyways. So, I mean, they just want to give a disposable show to Canada, get it over with.
It's basically a high school stadium.
And come back in another 2 years.
This is the number two market in the UFC.
The freaking Eastside Wildcats. Let's go. Let's get on with the show.
Eastside Wildcats.
Well,
all right.
I reckon we just saved the main event for last because there's honestly not a lot to talk about with that, and not only that, we just don't have a whole lot to say given that there's not a whole lot there.
And let me just say this right off the bat. It is such a pleasure to talk to you guys about Beneil Dariush specifically, because man, I talked to Mitch a lot about MMA, and it's like obviously I agree with a lot of his takes, but he does not want to give Dariush his respect. I am fighting tooth and nail for him to back Dariush. He likes him, he respects him, but he just doesn't want to get behind him and stuff. He still thinks Poirier beats him easily and all that stuff. But man, it feels good to talk about people that really respect Dariush to that level. So glad to be here, Chief.
Well, yeah. So
I'm in this fight with you, soldier.
Co-main event: Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. If you're so high on Beneil Dariush, then you're really gonna like my pick, because I'm just gonna start by saying, and I want to get Hayden. I'm gonna start with you I just want to hear your thoughts about what I'm about to say.
Sure.
I think with how spectacular and fast Charles Oliveira's stock rose through the UFC with that winning streak, I think just as equally it's going to crash as spectacularly and as fast as it rose with this fight against Beneil Dariush. A potential fight later on. Let's say he loses this. He fights Hafiz. I think he loses a lot. Like after this Makhachev fight,
dude,
I think
as much as Dariush is a bad matchup for Oliveira, the same can be said the other way around. I think they're both kind of bad matchups for each other.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'll let you cook. I mean, you can have your hot take. I know let's say this. Jensen Lord is a Charles Oliveira hater because he smacked his boy Justin Gaethje in one round.
Not even.
Jensen got banned off. And then Jensen got banned off live.
Dude, I got suspended off live for clowning him.
Let's just preface with that.
Here's the thing. People are going to say what they're gonna label what I'm saying as hating, and it's not hating. Me hating would be me saying I wish this happens. I don't necessarily wish that
Right.
this would happen. If he went like 500, I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
No, I like watching No, I thought about it. I like watching Oliveira. I think Oliveira is one of the most entertaining fighters in all of the UFC. You cannot
You're
deny
weird
that.
to say elsewise. Yeah.
Right, his story's incredible, all that good stuff. He was an incredible champion for 2 fights, but I will say, man, I just don't like his I don't like his style as far as a long career that's gonna see him fight late
He's
into
had
his
a long
30s.
career.
Well, yeah, because he's been fighting since he
He
was
had a
12.
long career and he won the belt. He won the belt after 27 fights.
Yes, but
So what does it matter?
but he completely changed his style to get to the belt, and his style I don't
He
think
still got smoked in every. He still got dropped in every fight to get there.
right. And so look what happened early.
Who cares if he doesn't fight till he's 40? He's already fought almost 30 UFC fights.
No, but
Like, you know how much money he's made as well fighting the way he fights.
I mean, the dude.
yeah,
Dude,
no shit. My point is, I just don't see him having this long win streak from now on after this kind of little rocky turbulence against Islam. I just don't see it.
Okay, yeah. No. It is hard to imagine him like having a second
resurrection.
goal.
He's not having any
like
more trilogies with Nick Lentz. He's fighting Fazeev. He's going to be fighting Dariush. He's going to be fighting Killer. He's not fighting Nick Lentz and washed up.
Yeah, but Charles can't beat these guys though.
Yeah, he totally
can.
Like,
yeah, he can.
And
will
just,
he?
Just like the way you phrase it, where it's
Spit
like
all
the
over
one
me,
thing about his style, it's like that's like his style won him a belt. So like does like
Thank
he got
you.
his belt, he got his title defenses.
Right,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
not
he's
every
good.
style
He's
is
set.
built the same.
That's why he wins fights the way he wins fights. I don't understand which
No.
point.
Oh my God, y'all! I don't think y'all are understanding what I'm saying. Well, his
We might not
style
be.
is effective, no doubt. Is it effective in the long term? I don't think so.
But Eric already answered that point. He already fought 27
won
pro
a
fights.
belt in like his 24th pro fight or a UFC fight. So he's had the longevity. Now it's all bonus from here. Now it's just
Okay,
let's make money.
I don't think he's gonna have too many wins from now on. I'm just gonna say that. There we go.
Okay,
Y'all
fair,
happy
fair,
with
fair,
that?
fair. His chin could go. You're saying his chin could crack.
His chin's gonna crack. I think people are gonna just start to kind of, I don't know. They're
So
starting
you
to
say
figure
that,
the
so
style out a little bit.
You damn sure have to say the same thing about Gaethje then, right?
Yes, dude. Gaethje
sure.
has
Jensen does
2
not deny
fights.
that.
Yeah, Gaethje has 2 fights max. You're not gonna get that.
I'm just making sure you're realistic here.
Of course, I'm realistic with
We're gonna
everyone.
spend 40 minutes on this fight.
No, I'm realistic with
But I'm
everyone.
here for it. I'm here for it.
I think Beneil
Yeah,
Dariush absolutely smokes Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, but how's he gonna do it in your opinion? Which I think Beneil beats him as well, but I think there's a lot of leaps and bounds he needs to face. He's not just
Left hand go boom. That's what I think.
Dude, you're acting like Beneil's not also insanely hittable, and Charles isn't,
No, he
hasn't developed like some of the best. Like he's so hittable.
He
And
definitely
he's what,
is.
38?
And
He's what, 37, 38? He's not no spring chicken in the light.
No, he's 34.
Is he 34? I thought he was like 37 for some reason. I thought he was a
He's
little bit older.
surprisingly young. Yeah, he's like in his prime.
He
He's
looks
like 33,
old.
34
He looks
somehow.
like he's 40 years
No,
old.
that's not an excuse. That was just for some reason I thought he was a bit older.
No, I just.
Okay, can I start? Can I start by, unless you want to keep justifying your pick already?
No, go ahead. I've already rambled too
Can I
much.
give Beneil Dariush some flowers?
I guess.
What I love about Beneil Dariush is, to me, like in a lot of the things he does in his game, he's like the quintessential like modern MMA fighter. Like he seems like a guy who's really, really, really up to date on all the latest trends in no-gi grappling, in MMA. Like he seems like someone who really watches and studies a lot because it translates in his style. Like number one, he's a guy who, despite having a pure gi jiu-jitsu background, plays zero guard these days in the best way possible. He ends up on his back quite a bit, and it's just, I mean, he's fought just great guys, so that's a reason. But the second he's on his back, sorry, I don't mean, no, sorry, I said that wrong. He does not spend time on his back, but he finds himself kind of through various, whether even in the Tony fight, and the Gamrot fight. And exactly, he immediately, despite, I mean, he has a better guard than almost everybody he fights. He kicks off the chest and immediately flips onto his knees, and he gives up the back body lock. He starts standing up, fighting the hands. Very modern. Like, he doesn't waste time on bottom. He also has
Whitaker
a lot of Granby rolls. He's also started to Granby roll a lot into leg locks, not to finish the leg lock, but just to create that scramble. Just phenomenal. And then takedown defense, he's just super up to date on all of
Sure.
that. Feed in the single leg, scrambling out. Just in so many ways, he's just exactly what you want. And then he has really simplified his striking to his strengths. And it's just a beautiful game when it all comes together. With
Yeah.
that being said, I'll let Hayden rock on this one. He's got a tough fight in Oliveira, and I think the same can be said either way for both guys.
Yeah, so like I like a lot of what you just said. Like he plays that 50-50 leg and table limit game where he's on his back to create
Totally.
the scrambles to get back up to his feet. And one of the takes you said, I don't remember how long ago it was, but there's just that thing about being a good southpaw with good positioning. Because all it takes is one, and with somebody like a Beneil Dariush, his one is equivalent to someone's three. Do you follow what I'm trying to say? And we saw that in, say, like the Drakkar close fight. A guy he's fighting where he's a brink top 15 guy, very tough guy, good record in the UFC. I believe he's like 6-2, never been finished him. Scott Holtzman, another one, another name that don't pop off the page, but it's never been finished, and he finished him. Do you know what I mean? So there's something to be said about his position and being a strong, fundamental southpaw that sticks to the numbers, and a lot of things that you said, like him being one of the best modern era mixed martial artists who went from being a pure, what was he, a brown belt gi world champion and a black belt in no gi, and then he transitioned over to a well-rounded mixed martial artist. So many good things to say about Beneil Dariush. But with that said, and you said this earlier going into it, there's a lot of good things and good ways for him to win this fight, but I feel like a lot of that can go over to Charles as well, right? Because if Charles can,
Totally.
do you know what I mean? Because I feel like if Charles can come in, I forgot who said, I feel like it was Poirier that said it. If the Charles that came in flat that fought Islam, Beneil's probably going to run through him. But if the Charles that fought, say, Poirier or...
I don't think there's
Gaethje,
any really way I see him running through him. I think either way, they're both going to land a big shot. But yeah, you can finish him early. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so if he shows up flat, like I said, I feel like Beneil's going to, not to say have his way, but Beneil's going to have a better time succeeding. But if he shows up like the Gaethje or the Poirier fight, he's going to have a really tough time on the back foot where he's just, where Oliveira's just showing him so much. I feel like the clinch engagements are going to be so high level in this fight because they both have such a high level clinch game where I feel like Oliveira is a lot more offensive with framing off with the elbows and the knees and stuff like that. But Beneil scores a lot of good body lock takedowns from the clinch, forces the guy into the cage where he changes his double to the single to the high crotch and kind of lifting and turning his guy off the cage to get him parallel with the cage so he can't have the cage to work with. Man, there's just so many avenues.
Modern stuff. It's modern
Yeah.
MMA wrestling to a T.
Yeah.
On his cage work, it's all, yeah.
Can I ask you a
What were you
question?
gonna say,
Hayden?
Sure.
A little off topic, but I'm just curious. Do you think that Oliveira, do you think he showed up flat against Islam, or do you think it was Islam doing what he did that made Charles look flat?
Dude, I'm sorry. I didn't suck Islam and say he was the greatest performance of all time.
Oh, I'm just saying, because I'm genuinely curious.
I know what you're saying. No, I know what you mean. Islam fought a great fight and did what he needed to do to beat Charles Oliveira. Great game plan, couldn't have drawn it up any better. However, I think it also is fair to say that Charles Oliveira that stepped into that octagon that night did not look like the same Charles Oliveira that stepped in against Dustin Poirier and Conor. I was going to say Conor McGregor.
But is part of that
Justin
because
Gaethje.
of his dancing partner? I mean, like Gaethje and Poirier are two of the most high octane, in your face fighters that you can get right now. Where Islam, yes, has some forward pressure, but he's a very patient guy. Do you think it's the dance
Again,
partner?
Eric, you want to help me with this one?
I just
The
want to.
threat. No, listen to me. No.
Okay.
The threat of the takedown changes everything. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, sure, Gaethje and Poirier may have.
That is kind of funny though, considering just what every Oliveira said. Every Oliveira fan said going into the fight, which was like,
He's not scared of the takedown.
You're on point. You're on point, Hayden. You're on point.
Yeah.
It's just funny thinking the discourse going in, where it's like, he's not scared of the takedown. He's got he's got the most submissions in UFC history. Anyway, keep going. I had to say that.
No, you're good. So I feel like that's just the thing where it's like I feel like the threat of the takedown just made it a different story. And also, if I remember the fight correctly, I haven't revisited it in a while, but again, Islam was on the back foot in that fight, and he knocked him off with that left hook. Check right hook.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean. I feel like yeah.
Okay, I just wanted some.
I'm kind of rambling here.
I just wanted some clarity on that.
I want to know, Jensen, like how this is what I want to know what you think and how you kind of see this unfolding. And it might just be as simple as him pulling Oliveira into the left overhand, because I do have worries about Beneil dealing with Oliveira's pressure. Now, Beneil's a guy who does a lot of forward pressuring himself. Not super technically, I will say. Where Oliveira, but Oliveira is just the forward pressure guy because his toolbox is so ridiculously deep.
Mhm.
It's got a
He's
crazy
the
bag.
forward pressure guy, and I don't know. Like, here's what this fight comes down to me. It's Beneil having a hard time with Oliveira's pressure, but he has such a high percent chance of just backing up, circling into his power side and just pulling Oliveira into a left overhand bomb.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was
But
thinking as well. Yeah.
so like that's how he wins the fight to me. And then Oliveira has very reliable ways of finishing the fight because, like I said, Beneil is very, very hittable, and Oliveira has just a ridiculous arsenal of weapons. So it's like, I guess
Dariush could
in terms of
submit.
reliability, he could. Well, yeah, the ground game's a whole other avenue. I don't know. Sure, talk about the ground game. Like, how do you see that kind of playing out? Who's doing more of the shooting? Like what's the kind of mentality of both guys on the ground in this matchup? What do you think, Jensen?
Ooh, I gotta go one.
It's hard to say. I think Oliveira is definitely going to be the one initiating the ground exchanges. Just off the top of my head, I just feel like he'll probably be the one initiating a lot of it. Now we could see a lot of Dariush just using Oliveira's forward pressure and really upright stance against him and start shooting takedowns of his own. But I don't know if that's necessarily a game he wants to get into. I will say, like, even though I think Charles Oliveira's game off his back, it might just be a smidge overrated. I don't think it's something that anyone wants to deal with at all.
It's not his game off his back is not overrated. It's just not good for MMA, even if it has won him fights in the past.
I was gonna say.
I think we're on the same page. We're on the same page with that. So Jensen, you're on point.
He has tremendous guard skill, no doubt. I think if you're Dariush, I think he mainly just uses his wrestling from a defensive standpoint to kind of neutralize what Charles can do. And then, I think the situation on the feet goes like a lot of what you said, just kind of drawing him into that big left hand. But man, like I will be fair to Charles Oliveira. He is just a whirlwind to deal with, especially early on. He's just like, he's just nonstop. He's just an absolute warrior, man. It's just so tough to get him off of you. It's probably like incredibly frustrating. But yeah, I think I do worry about like those sort of scrambles that Dariush kind of thrives in because, where does Charles Oliveira get a lot of his submissions, his scrambling? So
I think Oliveira's a bit more dangerous in the scramble.
Yeah, I was just gonna
a
say
little more defensive. But keep going. So
that's what I'm saying. Like I worry about Dariush in those scramblings, in those scramble situations, because Oliveira could get a hold of a leg, get a hold of a neck, just something, man. But I just personally think I think the forward pressure is going to catch up to him once again. And I just think he gets caught by Dariush, and I think that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point you were talking about with Charles initiating more of like the grappler and the wrestling and stuff, because I can see that too. Like, for my money, Dariush definitely has good reactive single legs and stuff like that, but he's more of a proactive wrestler. He's more proactively looking for the takedown, right? But I feel like he's he's a great counter wrestler on top of that. So I feel like it's gonna be Charles looking to kind of get into that clinch, get the double undies, get the hands together behind him. He's gonna look for that body lock. But I just feel like Dariush is going to be able to out transition him as he's going to the ground, end up on top. And I feel like for some reason I've been drawing this up in my head for weeks now. The finishing sequence is going to be Paul Felder-esque, where Dariush has him parallel with the cage. Charles tries to get up against the cage, has his wing blades up against the cage, and he's going to sit in his guard and just smash him to bits, or he's going to end up clinching up an arm triangle or something in that nature. So I honestly feel that clinch game, even though Oliveira, like I said, is a little bit more offensive with his knees and stuff, and I feel could play into the forward pressure of betting, those knees to the body. But with that said, I think that clinch is a little bit dangerous of an area because I feel like Beneil could probably – his counter wrestling and counter grappling is a little bit better than Charles' offensive wrestling, in my opinion.
Yeah, I will say, though, Charles doesn't even necessarily have to get it to the ground to initiate some sort of submission tag.
But is he going to submit Beneil on the feet? That's fair. I agree with you.
No, I mean, it's not likely, but, he's done it in the past. And, you think about, we've talked about kind of the modern...
Who'd he do it to?
Dustin Poirier.
Tim
Crater black belt Dustin Poirier. Put some respect on his name. No, I just think that... we talk about the modern way of wrestling defensive, or I guess just getting back to your feet defensively. You can't really just work from your guard to get back up. You kind of have to wrestle up. But with that comes with
You have
pros.
to wrestle up.
Like you see, like Robert Whitaker do it and Beneil Dariush do it, and there's pros and cons. Like you have to give up your back, you have to give up something to get back to your feet. Now, will Charles be able to take advantage of that? Who knows? He might be able to. We could see him just backpack him. Who knows? But
Didn't he
I don't
get
know.
up off of his back against Islam, or am I tweaking?
Did he what?
Didn't Charles get up off of his back against Islam in the first round?
He did. He hit a.
I think he
was it an
snuck out the
X-guard
back door
sweep?
somehow. I think it was something along those lines, and he snuck out of the back door and got up because he had the rear body lock after. I think.
I did a
don't
whole
remember.
video on it. And I can just barely remember, but it was really crafty. It was really crafty.
So he has the skills to
was-
do it to back up your point,
Or
John.
was it it might have been a giggler sweep from half guard. He just got space and got up. I can't exactly remember. I will say, I will say, oh my god, I lost my train of thought completely. Somebody save me.
Sorry.
I'm spiraling.
I forgot where you were going.
Well, either way, I was just saying that.
Okay, so,
yeah,
so,
go ahead, go ahead.
I remember. I do think Oliveira is much more likely to initiate the grappling proactively. I do think he has some of the. I do think overall his wrestling is actually considering. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, like it's not his background. I think he has quite good and just creative ways of getting the fight to the ground or just in advantageous grappling positions in general. I will say, Beneil Dariush is one of the toughest guys in the UFC to take down, without a doubt. And I do think Oliveira, barring just he catches Beneil overextending, I do think he'll have a really tough time getting it to the ground. But again, I just keep going back to Beneil dealing with the forward pressure because, like, there's things that Beneil, like some southpaw things that, like, for example, his left body kick, he throws it a lot, he lands it a lot. I will but
It's so ugly though, isn't it?
fundamentally it's ugly as shit, and he falls all over the place.
Yeah.
When he retracts his leg, even his low kicks, he falls all over the place, and that type of footwork errors just gets eaten up by a guy like Charles. And those microseconds of being out of position, just allows him to come forward, and he's so opportunistic and so proactive, and I just think that's super dangerous for Benny. It's just, and then in the clinch, I also do think in the clinch, I agree with Hayden. I think wrestling wise, I think he's very smart in the clinch. I think he could definitely get a position where he just while Oliveira's looking to land something, Beneil is thinking positionally and gets double unders and dumps him to the ground and then stands over him kind of in that supine guard and punches him out. That's a really good take, Hayden. I quite like that prediction as well. But I do think Oliveira can give when he is throwing his strikes in the clinch, he gives Beneil hell in the clinch as well, and from that standpoint. So, man, it's a tough fight. It could go either way. The more we talk, I'm gonna lean. I love Beneil so much, but I am leaning a little bit Charles, and maybe it's because you guys are leaning Beneil.
Whoa.
I know I'm the Beneil guy. I know.
Let's do predictions. Eric, who you got?
I'm gonna go Charles just through forward pressure. I think he definitely gets clipped, and Beneil's not a guy who's gonna be scared to follow him to the ground as well. But I think
So,
just
with that
based
being
on the fact
said-
that he's gonna be, I think given the fact that he's gonna be mixing it up a little bit more, and I don't know, I'm gonna go Oliveira. But
I don't think you
I
believe your
it's just-
pick.
He could easily, but the thing is, he could just so easily walk into a left hand. But I don't like to bet based on like the likelihood of one potential sequence occurring. You know what I mean? I like to just go like who has just a little bit more ways reliably to win the fight. But it could just be so likely he walks into a left hand, so it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I'll go Oliveira.
Eric,
Go
let me
ahead.
help you out. So I'm taking Dariush for Eric. Let me help you out, right? So we're talking about Charles Oliveira and going on to Jens's point where it's like his style, you don't ever really see him going to decisions and stuff like that. So when it comes to having a killer instinct and finishing the fight, you're gonna put your money on Charles to do that, right? And I think, like you said, because of the footwork and the small opportunities where he loops his shots, leaves Charles open for this tight striking, like that tight left hook, step in with that straight right hand as he's throwing that big left kick to the body. I think there's not only ways for him to knock him out, not flat, but to knock him out, to put him on the ground there and then to follow him to the ground and finish it. I think there's more than one way for Charles to get this done on top of just submitting him. But with that said, I am taking Beneil because, like you said, Eric, I always say when I make my picks, from a general bettor's perspective, the smart money is with guys that have more ways to winning the fight. And the more we talk about it, man, you guys got me going more heavy on Beneil because I made a bet with Mitch, $20. He took Charles, I took Benny. I'm quite confident now. I had my skeptics with it, but I think Benny's gonna get it done.
I'm going Beneil Dariush, first round rear naked choke. I think he submits Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira taps for like the 6th time in his career. And
He's gonna get Charles
could.
back like that? No. Submissions. I think it's gonna be an arm
If he
triangle.
smokes him with a left overhand, which Oliveira could easily walk into one, yeah, Benny's definitely skilled enough to pull that off, 100%.
No.
I don't think anyone's gonna get knocked
respect
out flat. I don't think anyone's gonna get knocked out flat.
No one's going out cold.
Yeah.
Cold, yeah, I can't see that.
Yeah.
I mean, Beneil did get knocked out cold by a flying knee before. But
It's a flying knee, not you know what I mean.
I know,
Anyways,
but I'm just saying Oliveira does throw a
Anyhow.
lot of knees. But
Okay.
it's a great fucking fight.
Yeah,
You know
I
who
love
wins
that.
this fight, boys? You know who wins this
fans.
fight? We do, the
Yeah.
fans. And that's a
Watching the
prediction
clock.
I'll never get wrong.
Yep.
Besides Esparza Rose.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Anyways, main event, Nunes versus Aldana. We can kind of just keep it short here, mainly because
Oh no, let's get into the X's and O's of this one. I mean,
we're at 41 minutes, so
not bad.
yeah, let's not spend like a whole lot of time on this fight, but let's chat it up a little bit. I will say,
Let's use this time to just trash Juliana Pena in that last fight. What a meme fight that was. That was
Completely
an
fine
all-time
with that.
meme fight.
yes, that was what a striking
Like,
display.
I mean, she's throwing one punch, and the other punch is the other hand is behind her back. It's just
Very colorful.
world class.
I will say,
World class level skills.
Can we
That's a
talk
UFC
about
champion?
how much of a joke it was that people were after that fight saying that was the greatest women's MMA fight of all time? Like, just say you don't watch female
Oh,
MMA.
God. You're looking at a girl in Amanda Nunes who's like 30 times more skilled than Juliana Pena, but she's still scared on the ground of her. It was like the weirdest fight. Like
Yeah.
why in the world did she not finish Juliana Pena? She dropped her like 6 times in a round and a half, and then decided to
think she was-
sit on the guard.
I don't know. I
for
think
the
she was
whole
trying to make.
fight.
I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but I think she was trying to prove a point
No,
that she's going to beat her up for 5.
I honestly, I
Like,
still wonder if her
she-
confidence is a little shaken
Maybe,
for
and I
some
think,
strange
and like I
reason.
was-
It was so weird.
yeah, and I'll get into that when we talk about Aldana and stuff. But it's like I feel like she's kind of coming into that point of her career where she's like, "What more do I have to prove? I want to go out and just
For
kind of
sure.
prove a point with talking about Pena at that point. Want to go out there and just beat her up for 25 minutes, and man, mission accomplished. Fucking out. You know what I mean? Because not only did she knock her down 6 times, she beat her up in the guard with the elbow, split her open. She looked like a bloody mess at the end of that. So fair play to her for that. But I do morally agree with why didn't she finish that fight last?
I feel it's way more. I don't know. I think I'm on the opposite side of you. I feel like she's collecting paychecks, and shit, I would do the same.
Oh yeah,
as her.
100%. That's what I'm
Nothing
saying.
to prove.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I don't even know if in the second fight, like, I don't know. It was just, yeah, she did accrue quite a lot of
It was
damage. And,
proving a point to say I'm better, but I'm also collecting checks as well.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, when she wanted to damage Penny in the guard, she always had success. But then there's just such long moments of her just sitting in the guard, and it's so weird. And just letting Pena get her legs, like, climb them higher and higher up the back, where you're just really like, it only needs a microsecond to throw up an armbar at that point. Just weird stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, just stand up. She has literally no chance against you on the feet.
It's not the same. I
It's
feel like
so weird.
it's not the same Nunes that just ran through Megan Anderson on the ground.
No, so different. Where she didn't. I mean, even if you look back to the Megan Anderson fight, you can already see that's an Amanda Nunes who is already like so unthreatened and like not
fear.
just not really caring as much. Like she came in there. There was nothing technical. She just came in there throwing right overhand bombs with
Yeah.
no regard for Megan Anderson. And so when you look at the Pena fight, yeah, she was obviously probably super injured and had no training camp in the first Pena fight, but she was already starting to lack quite a bit of respect for her opponents.
I'm gonna disagree a little. Well, yeah, I agree
No,
with
she
what you
wasn't.
Dude,
said.
she didn't
no,
give
no,
a
her-
fuck about Megan Anderson. She came in there
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
literally eyes
yeah.
closed
Well,
throwing bombs.
I'm talking about the
she,
first
she
Pena
beat her up like
fight.
she was somebody at the park.
The first
Well-
Pena fight, I don't think it was anything to do with. I don't know if we're gonna get kicked off YouTube for saying this word anymore. The disease that starts with the C. I don't know. I don't know if YouTube has some algorithm that finds that word and they're banned. Yeah. So I don't know if it was anything to do with that or that messing up her cardio or injuries or whatever. I genuinely think that Pena had the perfect game plan to go in there against. No, please hear me out.
it.
I think
she was hurt. She had like a grade 3 like MCL tear or something.
But I also think that she came in there with the perfect game plan to dethrone a cocky, overconfident Amanda Nunes.
Doing what?
Just literally just getting into a
Juliana
slugfest with
Pena,
her, taking
I
her
was saying Juliana
shots.
Pena
That's
basically
that's
fought
the
that-
only way she can fight. She fought.
That-
That's the only way she
Right,
can fight.
and it
I was
worked
gonna
for
say,
that
she
one
fought,
fight.
She fought that fight like Nunes fought the Anderson fight. You
Yeah,
follow
and
what I'm saying? She
that's
just went there swanging.
Right, and
the
that's what I'm
only
saying,
credit
though.
I can give Juliana Pena, the only credit I can give her, nothing technical, is that she didn't lose before she stepped in the octagon. That's really all I can. And
Yeah,
she promoted.
and she went in there and she got Nunes gassed by basically going into a
He
slugfest
didn't
with
do
her.
anything. No,
Whether it was intentional or not.
Gas a champion in 2 minutes. She
Whether
gassed herself.
she did-
did not train for a second. For the
Whether it was intentional or not, she did it, and I was like, "Hey, that's the
fight. But
one
you're trying to
way."
give her like tactical credit for it.
That's what I said
As
she
if
needed
had
to
a
do
game-
before the
As
fight.
if she had a. She is at the biggest skill disadvantage possible. Of course, you want to just go at her.
Well,
But,
what I'm
like,
saying though, whether it was
I'm on
intentional or
your- I'm
not,
on your-
she
I'm
did
sorry,
it.
Jens. I'm
She
sorry,
did
Jens.
it. Whether it was
She did
intentional
do
or
it.
not, and
She did it.
you know, it was the one way, literally the one way she could have beaten Amanda Nunes, and she.
Eric is on your neck, bro.
No, well, I think y'all are misunderstanding what I'm saying. It's like the Charles thing.
Yeah, we must understand everything. It's your world. We're just
I know
Fucking hell.
everyone just doesn't understand what I'm saying. It's not
I
me.
get it,
I'm
man.
sorry,
I
Jensen.
used to live that life too one day.
It
You know what I
can't
mean?
be
It's
that
everybody
I'm
else's
wrong.
fault.
It's
I get it.
It's y'all are wrong.
know.
It's not possible for me to be wrong.
Fuck.
Anyway, Irene Aldana,
Yeah,
you know,
she-
title shot.
Yeah,
she
left hook.
She lost to Holly Holm like not even 3 full years ago.
Got outstruck by double, taken down by 5 times by a world-class kickboxer. I mean, you know, she has a left hook, though. I'll tell you that.
She's
And
got
she's
some-
Mexican. And don't
yeah.
she doesn't want anybody to forget she's Mexican.
She
Don't
got some
forget it.
good tight counter boxing. You know.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I mean, I don't want to do it like that. Like her Macy Chiasson fight was quite entertaining, but one of those things where Aldana she's winning these fights, but it's kind of like this. I was just having a look at her stats, and it's like split decision win, unanimous decision loss, split decision loss, and when she's winning fights, it's like, oh yeah, she outstruck her by 3, outstruck her by 5, knocked her down here, but got outstruck overall. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's not something that's popping off the page. But like I just said about Nunes, it could be one of those things because she is a shot boxer. Not for nothing, her Mexican style, great left hook and all that. And I feel like somebody like a Nunes that likes to really throw in that right hand, that cross counter could be there, and it could be just one of those things where Nunes is there for a paycheck, and it could be
agree.
just her time, and Aldana takes it out.
Oh,
But
agree.
with that said, not to take away from her, but I think we all agree that's probably her chance. That's the chance of her winning because Nunes called it, right?
Probably.
I'll give one piece of like tactical information on the fight that I'd like to see from Aldana is just attack the body relentlessly. You have such an uphill to climb. You're fighting Amanda Nunes. No one has ever really done it. Go at the body as much as possible. Throw your right cross to the body. Throw your jab to the body. Front kicks to the body. I feel like it goes 2 ways. Number one, it's just a great thing that you want to see more of in MMA. It's something that Amanda Nunes hasn't really had to deal with, so it's not something she's never really faced a big body puncher. Valentina Shevchenko was not that. And maybe this is probably entirely me reaching because it's based on nothing, but I don't know if Amanda has. There's questions about how much. Clearly she, and I don't blame her. Clearly she doesn't train how she did, in 2017, 2018. Fair. I think that's just, why would you? You're so far ahead skill-wise. And, I mean, she hasn't necessarily had the most warrior mindset in her last couple fights. So if I can go to the body and make her uncomfortable, maybe you have a chance. That's what I'll say. I'm not trying to...
She's crafty on the mat, too, Like, she can throw up some arm bars,
Yeah, I mean, it's a fight, I mean...
Yeah,
she's got some
that stuff happens
skills.
in MMA.
She's trained,
That's all I'll say.
She trains UFC.
She trains UFC.
Okay.
Facts.
Well, do we have predictions?
All right, gents. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll go... I do a real prediction. I was going to say Aldana left hook to the body knockout.
I was going to say Aldana submission.
I'll just say Nunes decision, and it's going to be... I'll give Aldana a round. 49-46, Nunes decision, lackluster fight. and she probably could finish it. But just like against Felicia Spencer, she just cruises to the decision. That's what I'll say.
I can definitely see that happening. But let's go with the hippie picks. I'm gonna say Nunes third round finish.
Nice.
I'm gonna agree a lot with Eric, but I'm gonna say I think of 49-46. I think there will be a little scare on the mat with the little submission attempt. I think she'll get caught a couple of times on the feet, but it'll be a.
Has she ever thrown up a submission attempt?
Who, Aldana?
Yeah.
Yeah, in her last fight, dude, she had a nasty
that what it
armbar
was?
attempt. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, mate, I'll tell you right to your face, I'm gonna be one of those guys. Yeah, I didn't watch that fight.
Okay, well, there you go. No, yeah,
I see the highlight.
she had a couple of submission attempts in that fight.
Oh yeah, she averages 0.3 submission attempts in every fight. Fucking hell, yeah, she's an ace.
She's basically
That was,
Charles
probably
Oliveira.
that was probably her one and only submission attempt in the UFC. Carry on.
Hey man, well, you're only as good as your last fight.
And she almost lost that fight. She was on her way of losing it.
Hey, until she hit the nastiest upkick in the history of human beings.
Luckiest, right?
Okay. Well, all right, boys. I have a secret.
Oh yeah.
A secret little segment here. This is gonna be some fun. I want y'all.
Alrighty.
Are y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are y'all on y'all's P's and Q's for this?
No.
Okay.
But I'll do my best.
I want y'all to name me the top 10 career significant strikes leaders in the entire UFC, both male and female combined. Y'all have to name
We'll go
it.
1 for 1. We'll go 1 for 1, Hayden. I'll go first. Max Holloway, you go second.
Max
Michael
Holloway's
Bisping.
1.
Michael Bisping.
Michael Bisping is 8.
Wow.
Wait, hold
Okay,
on. Let
I'll
me
go-
You
let me
said significant
chill.
strikes. You said
Let me mark these. Okay. Significant strikes landed for a career.
Okay, I'll go 3. I'll go Donald Cerrone.
Donald Cerrone is 5. Y'all are killing this.
Hayden.
I'm gonna go Jose Aldo.
Jose Aldo is not on the list.
Interesting.
Okay, I'll go Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva is not on the list.
That was
Wow, okay.
Too
that
many
was gonna be my
finishes.
pick.
I'll go. No. I'll go. Actually, it's your pick.
Say what about me?
next,
Fucking
Hayden.
hell.
Yeah,
I'm
go.
gonna go female, and we're gonna go Ioane and Jacek.
Number 4. Good call.
Thank you.
You gotta think of. Well, I don't want to give y'all hints.
Okay,
No, I don't
I'll
need
go,
your hints. I don't need your smelly hints.
I'll go Nate Diaz.
Nate
That's a good one.
Diaz is number 9. Good guess.
Good one, bro.
Okay.
This one could be a little bit rocky because of the way his end of his career went, but we're gonna go the greatest of all time, George St. Pierre.
George St. Pierre, Mr. Lay and Pray is not on the list.
I didn't think so because of the way the end of his, but I don't know.
Oh, I'll go Frankie Edgar.
Yes,
Oh.
Frankie Edgar is number 3.
Woo!
Number 2 is gonna throw y'all for a loop.
I'll go.
It's Hayden's
I'll go
turn.
Jim
Yeah.
Miller.
Jim Miller.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Jim Miller's
I'm
not on
It's
the
his,
list.
it's his pick. He's not on the list.
Mm-mm.
Good for nothing. All those fights.
I'm trying. I'm thinking of old guys. That's why.
How good was his last knockout this past weekend? By the way, crazy.
Pretty sick.
Oh,
Pretty sick.
Naughty.
So we have
I got one.
6, 7,
I got
10.
one. What about Eve Edwards?
Eve Edwards is not on the list.
Oh, I got one. Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson's not on the list.
Justin Gaethje.
Justin, he's got too
Nah,
many
no way.
finishes,
Hasn't fought
dog.
enough.
Yeah, that too.
DP.
Dustin Poirier is number 7. So y'all are missing 2,
Oh, yeah,
6,
for
and
sure.
10.
That's what I meant to
Who's-
say instead of Gaethje.
Max. Who's 2? Who did Max surpass? I feel like it's an active guy.
Can you say
Is
that?
it an
How many
active
are we
guy?
missing? How many do we have?
2, 6, and 10. Y'all are missing 2, 6, and
The
10.
viewers are screaming at their screen right now.
Oh,
Well, okay, there's one that's like, what the fuck?
No,
There's-
I don't want any hint. I don't want
Okay.
any hints. I don't want any
Oh.
hints. I don't want any hints.
I think I got. Let me give you 2 options that just kind of came to me that I feel like are weird, but it might be there. DC or Stipe.
You gotta no.
You gotta give
Jen's
me,
not.
you gotta give
You
me
gotta,
an
you
answer.
gotta say one or the other. You gotta say one or the other.
DC. All right, DC.
No,
Okay.
too fat.
I was thinking outside the box. That's
No.
why.
It's okay.
No, he didn't fight long enough. Too much WEC. I'll go.
DJ can't be there, right?
He
I was
cannot.
thinking DJ. He's not. He's not
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I thought you said BJ.
Joseph Benavidez. Joseph Benavidez.
Mm-mm.
How about TJ?
Oh, that.
No, that can't be TJ. He's not that long of a
No, it
career.
can't be TJ. It's not Bendo, is it?
Mm-mm.
He didn't have a long.
I thought of that. Not Faber.
If y'all need a
Nick
hint.
Diaz?
No.
No, not nearly enough UFC fights.
I'm
What am I
here for a
talking
hint.
about?
If y'all need it.
Okay, wait. It's got to be. It's not Carlos Condit.
No.
Not a long enough career either. Okay, I'm ready for hint number 1.
How
I'm so upset.
how
Number
obvious do
2.
you want the hint?
Not obvious.
No, yeah, no.
Okay, we have 2 females.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
for fuck's sakes.
Rose?
No. I like the guess
Valentina?
though. No.
Fuck that guess.
2 females. It's not Esparza. I know she's been fighting since she was that.
If you
Nah,
say
there's
Amanda,
no way.
it's no way it's Nunes either because she stashes people in
Oh.
one round. What?
Jermaine? Durandamy? No, there's no way. And now I'm reaching so hard.
Well, you said
Who are
female.
the-
It can't be Wei Li. She
Who-
has like 4 fights.
Yeah, can't be Whaley. You already said Joanna.
This is a little embarrassing.
Definitely not fucking Ronda.
It's not Holly.
No. This is so
Okay. What? Okay. Fucking. What's the weight class?
I'll give you one of the weight, or actually, one. Basically every fucking weight class.
Women's?
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Andrade.
Yes, number 10.
Oh, there you go.
Isn't that
yeah.
surprising? I feel like she has a lot of finishes to be in the top 10.
Who's
Oh,
2? It's okay. 2 is not a female.
2 is a female. I swear to God.
And it's not Joanna?
2 and 6. 6 is a male.
Who's 2? Who has been around forever?
Let me just throw a curveball at that. Dan Henderson?
Oh, no. Misha.
No.
No, there's no way.
No.
All right.
All right.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't
please
know.
save it.
I'll reveal the woman. All right.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Fuck
Okay.
off.
Okay.
What do you got? One more girl we're looking for?
A woman and a male.
She's number 2 on this list.
It's the
He's
second.
so hot.
Not Kat Zingano.
No.
We're just throwing shit out there now.
I know. Now y'all are just spitballing.
Oh, I'm gonna be so mad at work tomorrow. I'm gonna be like fixing something and be like, "Oh, fuck you think, yeah, you idiot."
This one, no, I'm not mad at you for not knowing this one.
Number 2.
Which is weird. It's the
Oh.
second most significant strikes landed of all time, and you're like, really?
Is it an outcast
must have-
name or is it a
Dude,
household name?
if you say it's Caitlin Chukagian with pillow hands, I'm gonna lose my mind.
No.
Okay,
Wait,
she
who's
has a lot of
Pillow?
volume.
Not Maya. Jennifer
No.
Maya.
No. Come on, that's silly. That's
Paige Van
Chukagian
Zandt.
made more sense. Yeah. Dude, Hayden, who is the number 2?
Man, I have
all-time?
no idea for females, bro.
Y'all want to try and guess the male right now at number 6?
Okay, male number 6. Okay, is it above or below 170?
70 and below.
70. So he's a 170er. Robbie Lawler.
Depends on the day.
Well, that's a good guess.
Colby.
No.
No. Oh, RDA.
Yep. RDA number 6. No.
Oh,
Y'all are
he
missing
fought forever.
the dreaded number 2.
Number 2, female MMA fighter that's fought.
Bro, I would have kicked
forever.
myself in the ass if I didn't get RDA. I'm so happy.
It's not Roxanne. That'd be insane.
Dude, I'm mad.
Bro, honestly,
Nico
I-
Montoya. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna lose my mind. She fought 2 fights in the UFC. I already said Andrade.
I'm glad I've stumped y'all
Who
a
is
little bit. I did not want y'all just to run through this, and I was like, okay,
we
well,
did
there's...
quite
We're
well.
running
We did
through
quite
it.
well. Yeah, we did quite well for not for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
honestly, Eric, if you don't know, then I don't know. I got no more
Viewers,
lifelines.
anyone who's listening, put in the comment section if you had it and you've been mad at us for 5 minutes because I'm ready to give up.
And don't lie.
Yeah,
Okay, I'd give it up. Aiden, who's number 2?
I'm a competitor. Fuck off. I'm
Jesus
gonna get
Christ.
this.
You got one more minute. I got to call
Yeah,
it.
Now
yeah.
The,
Let me
product
let me
is
tap
falling
in.
off the shelf right now.
Let me tap in. Fuck.
I'm giving you 1 more minute.
No more winning. Okay, who is
No,
it?
I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. Angela Hill.
No
I
way.
swear to God, dude. Look. I swear to God.
The curse of no finishing ability. The curse of no finishing ability.
Dude,
I'm so
Oh
mad
my
at
God.
myself. I'm so
I'm not
mad
even
at
mad at
myself.
that. I am not mad at that.
Because I pride myself on being an Angie Hill fan, so it's like I'm not gonna say that anymore.
Hey, if that's your
You
thing,
pride
go
yourself on
for
being an
it.
Angie Hill fan?
Dude,
That's the
I
first time.
no, I do like Angie Hill, and I've liked Angie Hill for a while. I really like her style, and like I said, she's one of those. She's probably the most unluckiest fighter in MMA, male or female, and she still shows up in 2 weeks and fights again. You
Yeah,
gotta
because she
admire.
has literally zero power in her hands. It's literally impossible for her to finish a fight.
Well, that's okay. So is Dominic Cruz. I mean, broken and bust the grape, and he still won a couple world titles. So I mean, it is what it is.
So Jensen, go. What's the list 1 through 10?
Oh,
Max
shit. Okay,
Holloway,
hold on.
Angela Hill, Frankie Edgar.
Hold on. Sorry, fuck. I already deleted the picture. Hold on. Okay, it goes Max Holloway, Angela Hill, Frankie Edgar, Joanna,
Got that. Got that.
Cowboy, RDA, Dustin Poirier, Michael Bisping, Nate Diaz, Jessica Andrade.
We did pretty good, honestly. There's some
Yeah.
tough ones on there you wouldn't think of.
Yeah, 100p.
There were some brutal
All right.
answers. I'm not gonna lie,
I'll take it.
but
We'll take it. I'm hoping for another game next week. That's pretty fun.
yeah,
actually.
maybe
Yeah.
someone else can host it because I want to play along.
It'll keep me
Yeah,
shot.
fair.
Yeah, no, I'll come up with one next week, and I'll get you guys.
Make sure it's like
Damn, I had a
don't
beef of
do
the week
some
and I forgot.
bullshit. Who has the most ninja chokes in the UFC?
No. That was a good question. I'll do something similar, like who has like the most like submission top 10 submissions or something. Do you know
Or
what
like
I mean? Like,
octagon control time. I won't look at
yeah,
any
yeah.
of the
No,
records.
octagon control time is mad. No, that's mad.
No, that'd
like,
be fun. That'd be fun. Chael Sonnen would be super high on there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if y'all want to do
Do
that,
something.
that's fine.
Okay, I trust you to do something interesting.
No, takedown percentage.
Oh fuck.
We're getting
No,
real
because
gritty.
Eric,
that's
we
too
cannot
simple with, like-
we cannot look
You
at the
guys play
record
some other-
books until
You
then.
call yourself MMA nerds. I mean, let's get to it.
Dude, okay. Oh, wait. I have one for next week. I have one. I'm gonna do next week. I have a good one in my head.
Okay.
All right.
I have a really good one in my head.
Oh, you're not gonna tell us?
All
Okay.
All right. Beef of the week. Who's got a beef of the week? I had one.
I want
forgetting.
I have
I
one.
want to go first.
Okay, you
I
go
wanna
first.
go
You go
first.
first.
All right. My beef of the week. I had actually a couple coming into this week, but I feel like this one's most relevant to say this week. My beef of the week is with Kai Car Francis Barber. Mate, he had a fucking 5 head left. That taper booty. Mate, like, you gotta do my boy a little bit better than that. He's on primetime TV and he hadn't going out looking like that. My barber would have a fucking stroke, mate.
He looked like
That
Sid
would-
from Toy Story, dude.
Oh, but not for nothing. I don't know who looked worse. Albazi looks like a gerbil, but I don't know what's bigger. Kai Car Francis' fucking forehead or Albazi's eyeballs. Bro is like
Yeah.
always eyes wide open and nose is out the fucking heel. Looks like he has a grapefruit on his fucking head.
Yeah,
Well,
Albazi's cut.
that's
Albazi and Kai's cuts were pretty brutal.
Oh, I got a beef of the week. Can I go, Jensen, before I
Yeah,
forget it?
go ahead.
My beef of the week is with Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King himself.
God.
Oh, good
I have
one.
a beef of the
Good
week.
one.
I have a few reasons to beef with Tyson Fury. Number one, the guy is ducking Alexander Usyk.
Oh,
It's
okay,
been
so-
going on for so long. It's absolutely embarrassing that this fight can't get made. And to say that I'm sure Usyk has demands. I'm sure Fury has more demands that are more making it even more difficult than it already needs to be in boxing to make the fight. Usyk is far higher on the pound for pound. He's a tough challenge. I would still favor Fury in that fight without a doubt because he's so much bigger. But that's one thing with Tyson Fury. Number two, obviously he's a Fury, so he absolutely loves attention. No one's a bigger attention seeker than their dad. But
He's like
the
the
way,
LeVar Ball of the boxing.
oh yeah, he actually
world.
is. He actually is.
Oh,
John
yeah, I
Fury.
forgot about LeVar.
That's super true. But then Tyson Fury comes out here. There's the Joe Rogan clip where Joe Rogan says, "You lock John Jones and Tyson Fury in a room. I know John Jones is like the one coming out alive." And then Tyson Fury blows up, has a little hissy fit, gets nice little easy headlines. And then once
No
John
man
Jones
boss, his mother
responds,
can beat me.
yeah, and then once John Jones and Dana White respond, Tyson Fury with the biggest back pedal of the century, saying, "Oh, well, I'm just a boxer and MMA,
He's
so
a
if he
pirate."
wants to come to boxing, no shit,
Yeah.
you'll beat him in boxing. That's not saying anything at all. The whole point was about if you were locked in a room, John Jones would absolutely kill you, and he would." And what else do I beef with Tyson Fury with?
That's what I thought you were gonna go with initially.
Just being fat. No, I'm
It
just kidding.
sounded
I'm
like
just
he was a
kidding. I
pirate.
actually,
He said,
I did
"Arrgh."
actually.
He said-
I
Bro,
did.
made it sound
No,
like
no,
Captain
no.
Hook.
I like Tyson Fury, but sometimes he does too much for headlines. It's a
Captain
little bit
Hook would be
annoying.
a
Just
baller ass boxing name, by the way, like a nickname.
actually it would be. Anyway, that's my beef of the week.
Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty relevant. My beef of the week is not relevant to MMA whatsoever. Mine is with the plague that is like just completely running through. I would say mostly North America. It's kind of getting into like Europe and a little bit, but the plague being the minimalistic designs, whether it's in architecture, whether it's in
Facts.
clothing, but you know where it hits the most is sports. Nothing has been hurt worse about this whole minimalistic design trend than sports. If you look at the NBA, dude, the NBA from the mid 90s to late 90s had some of the best logos in all of sports, the best absolute fucking jerseys. Think about the Utah Jazz with the mountains on them, the pinstripe Magic and Bulls, the what else? Yeah,
Blazers had
the
Blazers had fire
Sonics.
uniforms.
Yeah,
The
you had
Suns.
the Bucks and the Pistons with their horses and the freaking Bucks. Amazing.
And
The Bucks are also one of those teams that rebranded to a minimalistic logo, and it's fucking garbage.
Yeah, and then everything now is just a circle. The Pistons are a circle. The Raptors had one of the cool.
The
That's
Nets.
another amazing mid '90s jersey and logo. And what did they do? They made it a circle with the claw in there. When they had one of the best logos ever with the purple dinosaur. Yeah, the Pistons, the Mavericks, everybody has just transitioned to this little circle that has just like these couple little designs in it, and it's just like, dude, stop being afraid to have designs. Like I see it,
Dude,
with
yeah.
oh my god, with everything, dude. It pisses
Even
me off.
outside of just the sports world, like just in day-to-day life, like the this minimalistic genre and era that we're in is just honestly is just one of the downfalls of humanity because it just eliminates detail. It also eliminates like jobs, honestly, frankly.
Yeah.
And just the like when you think of like all these like especially I was just in Europe recently and like the amount of character in those cities
Yes.
is unbelievable. It comes down to really little things like let's say you're in a public park and there's a fence. Like now the fence is like minimalist, just like straight bars. Whereas like before they're like there's so much detail and designs. Like even you go to a house, you ring the doorbell. Nowadays the doorbell is just a straight rectangle. You can't even tell it's a doorbell. Like whereas, you know, you go 60 years ago and there's like all these intricate details. Like I love that shit. Like I hate that we're at this point in humanity where there's just no creativity whatsoever. We're just eliminating as much creativity as possible. It's just creates for such a boring world. Like
Yeah,
all the
when-
modern gray houses and shit. I
Oh
can't
my
stand it.
god, I hate it. When's the last time y'all have ever seen a gargoyle? Like, you know,
Yeah.
bring back
yeah.
gargoyles and like
you see them, not gargoyles specifically, but you see like stuff like that, and like put like where I'm from, my city. Like I don't live in Boston, but I live like about an hour away from Boston. In my city, there's a lot of Portuguese, so you get a lot of like muddy in the front yard. You have a lot of ponds, a lot of fountains, a
Yeah.
lot of like the gate things. You see that a little bit around here. So not to go against you guys because I get what you're saying, but you definitely see it around like my neck of the woods, anyways.
and like
Well,
I just,
that's a Portuguese thing. You know,
Like-
we like our statues, we like our stone, we like our brick.
yeah, and that's amazing. And like not every like you can have a tall building without it looking completely lifeless and soulless. Like you can have tall
Mhm.
Like
buildings that look cool.
I don't know about you guys, but they like a lot of the new houses they make around here. They're beautiful homes. Do not get me wrong. It's
Right.
like, what is that gap right there? It's such a nice thing to look at.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you pull into like the what they call estates, like where it's like a living area and stuff, they're cookie cutter as
Yeah.
fuck, lad.
Oh my
They
God,
all
I know.
painted the same color. Car park is the same thing. Grass is the same. The same yards, same heating systems and condensers outside. There is no bit of originality. So I get where you're going with that.
Mhm.
But I mean, I guess it's like what people think like to go. It's like uniform to look that way, and it's like simplistic is good in a way, and it keeps things
Like
contained and stuff.
Hayden, I know what you're
get it.
saying in terms of like they can
I'm
be
just
nice.
playing
to
devil. I'm playing devil's advocate here
No,
because
no.
I agree with you guys.
I know, no, I know what you're seeing. Like when you see like a brand new, super modern, sleek home, like wow, you can say, wow, it's beautiful, and I think there's a novelty to it. But imagine every house in the neighborhood looking like that. Like that just
That's
sounds
what
like
I'm saying.
hell. That
Yeah.
sounds like
Mhm.
hell.
Scary.
Especially when you look at the price tag. It's like I paid this for my house to look just like that guy's house.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
And as like an NBA team, why would you not want your brand to stick out as much as possible?
I know.
And don't get
it's
me wrong.
Brutal.
As a Tampa Bay Buccaneers
couldn't
fan, I've seen the complete opposite of minimalist with our jerseys from like 2014 to like 2019, where it was the most hideous thing possible. There was like 6 different colors on there. We had like the digital alarm clock numbers on there. Like it looked horrible. So I get it. Like maximalism has its place and it can be really bad too. But like, and minimalism isn't also necessarily bad all the time. Like that jersey I got up there, it's a pretty It's a pretty minimalist jersey, but it's just.
To me, it bothers me more with the logos. The jerseys,
Yes.
I can appreciate it's the logos, man.
Yes.
When they just literally just write out the name in like a Times New Roman or like an Arial black font.
And it's just a circle, dude. Like
the Mavericks, like the Mavericks like I don't play in I have 2K20. Like I don't give a rat's ass about 2K.
Same.
So like when my friends come over, we'll play in that. Bro, like they're like, oh, let me pick my jersey, and it's like, bro, the jerseys are shit. Like there's only a couple of teams. Like the Nuggets have nice jerseys, the Blazers have nice jerseys, the Suns have nice jerseys, but it's like Milwaukee has good jerseys. But it's like you use Dallas, it's like,
it's so boring.
you know what I mean?
There's some
But
good like
to be
alternatives.
Fair, to be fair, like the associate jerseys, like the Celtics, usually you get white, green, and then you get the occasional black. But mate, the new green ones are just like they're sharp. They're sharp looking. You know what I mean? So there are some of them that are like I like that.
I will say,
you know what I mean?
There are certain sports franchises that need to have simplistic jerseys forever, like the Celtics,
like the
Lakers,
Browns.
the Browns, like the Packers. Like there's
But the
certain
thing is that
franchises.
The Browns make it a beautiful thing. Like there's beauty in that simplicity. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but
Everyone
I
else,
feel like the Celtics,
even in the maximalist years, the Browns have the same. You know what I mean?
It's their
cool,
thing.
but not when everyone does it.
Right,
It's their thing. Stop copying them.
Right.
and even the Celtics have changed their logo a little bit because even if you guys remember when Bill Russell played and stuff, the jerseys it was B.
Sorry,
big
I
ass
wasn't born.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying if you guys have ever seen the jerseys,
Yeah.
it's a B, a big space, O, a big space. Now the letters look all uniform. They look like they all spaced out the same. Back then it was like a big space in between each letter, and it's like it was a big circle for 5 letters.
Yeah, and that's why I will say, like,
Count.
also, like, quick side note, Lakers, go back to gold. Get rid of this fucking mustard yellow y'all have on your jerseys.
Oh,
But anyways,
so
but
true.
like the Miami Vice, Miami Heat jerseys, amazing. Like, there are still great jerseys out
Bangers.
there. I just don't understand, like, I don't know. It's just, I just hate.
You know what? You know what's an ugly jersey in sports?
What?
The fucking Tampa Bay Rays.
Stop. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of their kind of transition, but I don't think all.
Especially
their,
that when that guy.
I don't think all of them are bad, to be honest.
Baseball's also always been pretty simplistic and like traditional with their uniforms.
Maybe because I'm American, you cannot go wrong with a pinstripe.
Not at all.
Period.
Fair.
The Yankees pinstripe, white and blue pinstripe.
The Magic,
cannot
the
go wrong.
Bulls. Oof.
The Magic, the Bulls.
The
Yes.
Bulls pinstripe is
Yes.
so
No,
sick.
the Magic was
Blue or white for the Magic was bomb.
100%. 100%.
I'm trying to think. I feel like we missed like a really good jersey in the NBA from like the mid to late 90s. We can all agree are like the absolute best for like jerseys. Like the Utah Jazz Mountain ones. Oh my god.
All right, boys. This is not an NBA pod, but this is a great beef of the week. Great job, all around, all three of us.
The Hawks
Super
with
fun
the big
episode.
freaking hawk. All right, sorry. Go ahead. The
Oh, yeah,
Kimbays.
No, that's it. I just wanted to wrap it up and thank everyone for listening, and I'll let Jensen carry out the outro formally.
Yeah, just subscribe, like, follow, give us questions so we can actually do a question segment. Follow up all these boys on every social media platform you can think of. Eric Maddie MMA, Last Round was Flagrant Sports. See y'all next week where we will be recapping Charles Oliveira dead on the mat and Nunes cruising to a 49-46. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for listening.
Later.
See ya.